Let's talk about November itself, because obviously in sports, when you add up the NFL, the MLB, NBA, and everything, there's what we call the dog days of summer, where the only thing that's left is Major League Baseball. It's right in the middle of its season. We're all waiting for college football to start. We're all waiting for the NFL to start, the NBA. Right now, we're in the dog days of October when it comes to boxing, because obviously the biggest intriguing matchup this whole month is probably Tony Bellows versus BJ Flores coming up this Saturday. But November starts off with a bang. Like he said, Pacquiao versus Vargas. Plus, we got that undercard, Donaire Magdaleno. We have Valdez fighting on it, and who's the other? And Zhu Shiming opening the card. Then 2 weeks later, we have Kovalev-Ward, and then after that, we have Nicholas Walters versus Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah.
So boxing fans got a nice fill coming up in November after this down October. But you said it, with your hard-earned money, fans don't have that luxury where they could select both fights and order both pay-per-views. Some may, but if you were a blue-collar working man and you had to put up your money on either Pacquiao versus Vargas with that undercard and Kovalev versus Ward, and not know what's on it yet, right now, where would you lean to? Which fight would you order on pay-per-view?
That's a no-brainer. I mean, very easily, Kovalev and Ward out there, because you have Ward, who in my opinion is a very intelligent, always finds a way to win, has fought killers, who was the black horse, if you will, in the Super Six. He came out on top. He beat Edison Miranda. He beat, who else was a big puncher?
Arthur Abraham. Nico Kessler.
Froch. Everyone had him. Well, I don't know if he's going to win, but he's a smart dude. Yeah. Not only outside the ring, but inside the ring. This game he's, now that I'm learning the boxing aspect of the game, I know it sounds kind of amateurish that I'm saying that, but I was a puncher before. But I can respect what Ward does in there. He's very smart, and but at this other side of the coin is Kovalev, who is a bone crusher, and no pun intended. The guy can end it with one shot, and that's the intrigue. So, and I think as the fight gets closer, it's going to tighten up on the odds. And that's not knocking Ward, that's not knocking Kovalev. I just think it's a big intrigue on what's going to happen and who's going to show up. But it's hard to bet against a guy who hasn't lost a fight since he was 10 years old. The last gold medal winner. That's hard to do that. Now, I'm a puncher, and we know, I've heard from many of guys that when Kovalev hits the bag, it just sounds bizarre. But at the other side of the coin, Ward's not a bag. He's going to know how to move. He's going to handcuff him. He's going to set traps. And Ward's not a punk either. He's going to get in there and fight. I mean, he dogs fighters. I mean, look what he did too with it Green, and then who else that he fought?
Edwin Rodriguez.
I mean, he went in there and he's a dog, man. He'll go in there and he'll dog you out. He's not afraid. He's not going to play the safe card, if you will. He's going to go in there and he's going to give it to you. I think his power is very underrated. But I know his intellect is amazing. I know his boxing ability is amazing. So if I'm betting, and I could be dead wrong, I'm going with Ward to win.
Is it also, do you kind of gain confidence, just the fact, like you said, he fought all these punchers, Ward, Abraham, Froch, all these guys.
Yes.
And, kind of flip the coin on that, like Kovalev hasn't really fought like a boxer like Andre Ward. Is that even more of a sign, like kind of like looking at Kovalev's side, like, well, Ward has the experience in guys like you. You don't really have experience in guys like Ward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, and they're taking that into consideration. But John David Jackson's a great trainer, and I think he's going to prepare to the best of his ability for Kovalev. It's a no-brainer to see who the better boxer is, and it's a no-brainer to see who has more power, and that's the classic boxer versus puncher. Look what happened with Chavez Sr. and Magic Taylor, another great example of that. And it was Chavez Jr. was just chipping away, or Chavez Sr. was chipping away, and got him. I know it was controversy at the end when he ended him, but I mean, look at the wearing effects that it had on him. It was like someone beat him with the bat. I think Ward's a smart guy. I think he handcuffs him. I think he stays out of harm's way. And I think if Ward gets hurt, he'll take a knee. He's a smart enough guy to lose the round but not lose the fight. So if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to spend my money on the Ward Kovalev, because that's a treat, man. I'm actually excited I'm not only a fighter myself, but as a fan, I'm excited about that fight. That's no disrespect to Bob Arum, Jesse Vargas, and Manny Pacquiao, but I mean, if I have $70, and that's all I got in my pocket, I'm gonna spend it on Ward Kovalev, regardless of what's on the undercard.
Do you think Ward being out of the ring for 2 years, handling the situation that he had to handle, kind of hindered his boxing performance? Obviously, we saw what he did versus Brand and Paul Smith and the fights in between there. Hasn't been the same Ward that we've seen. Yeah, his boxing is still masterful, but some of the power hasn't gone up from 168 with him to 175.
No, I don't think so. Matter of fact, I think it benefited him. Here's a guy who's been fighting since he was 8 years old. Since he was 8 years old fighting. It's a lot of wear and tear on the body, man. I'm a fighter. I live it. You know, I think that time off, you know, money wasn't an issue. He's done well. He was never really out of the gym. But with that being said, I think his body benefited from it. I think he's going to show now come that fight in November against Kovalev. I think he needed that rest. So I think he's going to be better than ever. Another case in point, Mikey Garcia. Here's a guy that's probably arguing, he was born into a boxing family. Since he was born, he was boxing. So he took 2 years off. Now he's ready to go. I don't think it hinders those guys. They kind of pick up where they left off, and if not, they benefit because their body kind of healed. So I think for some guys it could be bad. For those guys, I think it's good.